Thank you for tuning in. My name is James Curtis Geist. I've been a history teacher for 20 plus years. I've been writing since 2016, and I love my coffee, and I love my Dr. Squatch cologne. Please hit like and subscribe if you enjoy my stories, and thank you very much. So I'm going to be reading from Modern Augustinian Confession. This is my autobiography, and yesterday was New Year's Day, and when I was growing up, there was a family next to my grandmother. I grew up in Allentown, and this was on Lawrence Street, which today is called Martin Luther King Drive, and they lived across the street from Fountain Park. So my grandmother and the Miller family, lived next to each other, and so as a kid, they used to babysit myself and my sister. My sister's 4 years younger, and just salt of the earth people. And Lynford passed away about a year and a half ago, and he was a roofer. And it's funny, he used to always bend over and touch his toes, throughout his 70s, into his 80s, and he always used to say, "Can you do this? Can you touch your toes?" And I used to be a minister, so he always used to say, "When I die, you have to speak at my funeral." And he would remind me of that every time I saw him. And so I did. I did speak at his funeral, and then his wife, Carol, she passed away about 6 months ago, about a year after he passed away. But, such good people. So Lynford collected antiques, and he had a metal detector. It looked like a golf club with a box and a meter on top and a wire to connect to headphones with the plastic saucer on the bottom, which made a whir noise when it went over metal. You would take the pole, swing it slowly back and forth, and walk in a straight line. On the boardwalk in New Jersey, there were guys who would walk on the beach with their metal detectors. It was not about becoming rich, it was about having a hobby. Where you would come across something valuable. Lynford used to go to Fountain Park, across the street, where people congregated to watch soccer games and softball games, and he would find coins, rings, jewelry, small metal toys, matchbox toys. After bending over with the shovel and digging up whatever the machine had detected. If you would look up the metal detector's best finds and histories, you would be amazed at some of them. Cousin Michael Myers said Lynford Miller did not age. At age 45, he must have stopped aging. Why, even at 80, Lynford could bend over and touch his toes. Lynford was a carpenter and a roofer. Dad sometimes worked with Lynford, my father, and for lunch they sometimes stopped by a bar for a drink or two. And the bar was a black bar, and the patrons there never bothered. They liked Lynford, and how about that? Nice to hear. So New Year's Eve, we used to go there almost every year. I mean, we must have gone there for 7-8 years in a row as we were growing up. Watched the Dick Clark New Year's Eve special. They would have shrimp and food, and they had a fish tank. They had a slot machine there, and he had a piano that you would pump and with the feet, and you could put in rolls, and it used to play music. So every year, Carol and Lynford used to babysit Jody and myself for New Year's Eve. They had shrimp every year, and we would watch the New Year's special with Dick Clark and watch the ball come down in Times Square on TV. They had a piano that took rolls, and when you pumped the 4 pedals, the piano would play songs. Downtown was my favorite. The Millers had a married couple who used to come over, and one day when they were all around the piano singing they sang the song "She's Too Fat for Me." Their friend was kind of a big lady, And I started pointing at her when we were singing She's Too Fat for Me. And Susie, the daughter, smacked my hand because, kids need that sometimes. I'm grateful for Carol, Lynford, Susie, and Diane. Susie was a great artist and was always drawing and painting. Diane was into Kung Fu. I did not know many people who were into martial arts, but especially for a young lady to do so impressed me. I am sure she was a fan of the great Bruce Lee. To me, they're a family in my they are family in my growing up years. I still like to stop by when I can. Their home with all the antiques made me feel, when I go visit them, it makes me feel like I'm back in the 1970s. When they watched Jody and myself, some of the shows they watched were Emergency, Star Trek, Hogan's Heroes, and The Wild Wild West. We sometimes played board games, or the board game Life, and sometimes would buy Jody and myself a McDonald's cheeseburger and fries, or take us to Carvel for an ice cream. They were always laughing and were a pleasant family to hang around with. So, yeah, I really want to honor the Biller family, and so grateful that I had such wonderful people like that in my life, and I will never forget them. So God bless you. God bless all humans and ETs, and all my books are on Amazon. And thank you so much for listening.